Imagine the Seven Kingdoms without Robert Baratheon seated on the Iron Throne. Today, we'll explore a fascinating alternate history, one in which Robert's rebellion either failed or never ignited into a full-scale conflict. To understand this scenario, we need to revisit the spark that led Robert Baratheon to challenge the Targaryen dynasty. Fueled by his betrothal to Lyanna Stark and anger at Prince Rhaegar, Robert's rebellion ended the centuries-long Targaryen rule. But what if those events unfolded differently? Suppose Lyanna's disappearance did not escalate into all-out war, or the rebellion ended in defeat before Robert could take the throne. In this alternate reality, the Targaryens maintain their hold on the Iron Throne. King Aerys II, the Mad King, still rules, or perhaps Rhaegar takes control sooner, ushering in potential reforms. Without Robert's rebellion toppling them, House Targaryen might confront its own internal strife. Still, the lines of succession would likely remain intact, and a Targaryen restoration wouldn't be necessary, because it never ended. Robert's house would still command respect, but it would lose the prestige and absolute authority that came with the Iron Throne. Over time, Storm's End might fade in prominence compared to royal-ruled territories. Stannis Baratheon would retain a post as a loyal bannerman or royal officer, while Renly could remain focused on courtly life. The entire Baratheon fate hinges on whether they stood against the crown and lost, or never rebelled at all. The Starks originally joined the rebellion when Lyanna's whereabouts became a point of conflict. If a rebellion didn't happen or ended in the Targaryens' favor, House Stark might be under severe royal scrutiny. Ned Stark could face punishment, exile, or even imprisonment if he led an open revolt. If the Targaryens showed leniency, the North might remain under Stark rule, albeit more tightly overseen by King's Landing. Without Robert on the throne, the political power map of Westeros shifts dramatically. Houses like Tyrell, Lannister, or Martell might seize opportunities to grow closer to the Targaryens. Alliances would form or break based on each house's desire for influence. The Targaryen monarchy, unchallenged by a Baratheon coup, could reward loyal houses with positions of power, forging a new web of alliances that keeps the realm stable or, just as easily, ignites different conflicts. A soft focus on Casterly Rock and a fleeting glimpse of King's Landing corridors. In our known timeline, Cersei's marriage to Robert made her the queen, granting House Lannister enormous power. Without Robert as king, she might marry elsewhere to cement a Lannister alliance, or remain at Casterly Rock, never ascending to the throne. If the Targaryens rule continuously, Daenerys grows up in a secure royal environment rather than in exile. Her childhood could be entirely different, possibly groomed for an influential marriage or even shaping policy within the royal court. The dragon's return might still happen or never come to pass at all, depending on how the Targaryens adapt over time. Tyrion's brilliance might be recognized by the reigning Targaryen monarch. He could achieve high-ranking positions at court, especially if the Lannisters maintain favor. Alternatively, if the Targaryens view the Lannisters with suspicion, Tyrion's future might remain fraught with obstacles. Even without Robert's ascension, peace isn't guaranteed. Many of the factors that shaped Westeros, from lingering resentment between the North and King's Landing, to Dorne's grievances over Elia Martell, still exist. The realm could see a different civil war sparked by the Targaryens' strict governance or internal family feuds. Alternatively, the Iron Throne could maintain a more stable kingdom if a wiser ruler like Rhaegar took charge. What if Robert Baratheon never became king? We see a Westeros likely still under Targaryen rule, where power plays take on new shapes and alliances shift in unpredictable ways. House Baratheon remains one of many prominent families, but lacks the royal influence it once wielded. Meanwhile, the fate of the North, the ambitions of the Lannisters, and the future of Daenerys Targaryen all unfold along vastly different paths. History often hinges on singular events. By removing Robert from the throne, we remind ourselves of how fragile the course of kingdoms can be. Whether chaos or stability emerges is never certain. All we know is that, in this alternate timeline, the Game of Thrones plays out very differently.